Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Summit 4. I know a lot of you are probably just waiting for ESL 1 to continue, but we do have some online action today. It will be Stark GG, formerly 4 Anchors, guys, taking on Empire, a single best of 3 here in the first round of the European winners bracket.
Yeah, so 2 teams who probably come in as kind of long shots as far as qualifying goes, but never want to count them out. Empire especially, a team who's known to go on hot streaks and when you least expect it, so we'll see. I'm excited to see some more European Dota.
Yeah, Empire, of course, just got back to what worked for them. They brought Yoku back on the team after removing him and always want to fly, so a very important adjustment, I think, for this team, having that strong, solid captain. Ivan just didn't seem to work out for whatever reason. Hard to say without being behind the scenes. So with that, we do have a draft underway. Let's go ahead and hop into game number 1. Stark on the Dire side here, commanding the first overall pick. Empire on the Radiant, and they're going to open things up nice and early with the Tiny IO first phase.
That's going old school. Empire used to love this duo. You go back to like past Star Ladder seasons, it was that finals they won against Virtus Pro where I remember their IO Tiny was just first ban material. Every team was scared of Team Empire getting their hands on IO Tiny. It eventually slipped through in game 4, I think, of the Grand Finals because of just Empire being too versatile, having too many options and too many heroes you couldn't ban. So something they're very comfortable with and something you can expect great results from. And also, it seems to be just getting more and more popular. Monkey Business have had IO be a first stage ban against them, so it seems IO Tiny, to some extent, is back.
For certain teams. Other teams just totally ignore it, I guess. There was a period where everyone was picking the Tiny IO, but we do see a bit less of it from some teams. But yeah, Empire, like you mentioned, it is an old classic for them, and surprisingly, the Brood Mama doesn't get picked up in the first phase here. I was kind of wondering, will the teams adjust their own game plans based on what's been happening in ESL, where Mag went on a rampage 2 games in a row, EG not respecting his Brood, got punished for it, and then again, Brood very successful here today on the next day of ESL. We even heard from Misery in his post-game interview that he thinks that Brood is a first phase pick or ban right now, which is very different for that hero, considering that normally it's considered like the type of hero that you have to find in the right situation. You can't just always pick Brood and have it work, but I guess Secret F flush off their victory, maybe thinking otherwise.
I mean, look at the teams remaining. It's all the Brood pickers. You've got Secret there. You've got Vega, who first 2 picked Brood. You've got IG. Luo's a dirty Brood picker. I mean, it's an era for Brood pickers. The dirtiest.
You'd think Alliance would be stronger. Bulldog definitely loves his Brood as a substitute for when Lone Druid and Prophet are not strong, but not available in this case. We'll be banned out. So the Ember Spirit's the grab by Empire as they go for a very mobile draft here. But 2 melee cores, and that Wyvern pick feels like it could have a very big game potentially.
Yeah, it's always a good response to the IO Tiny or just any IO combo that you might see come out. So still yet to see what the offlane hero for Empire will be. So when Yoku first rejoined the team, he was playing a bit of mid, but he's back to the offlane. So it's Empire going back to what makes the most sense and where they've been strongest. Yoku on the offlane, Resolution playing mid, Silent on the safe lane, and Aloha Dance on support. So pretty much their TI5 squad -1.
It's funny because it was the whole reason why he supposedly left was because he wanted to play the mid lane. And as long as Resolution's there, they felt like they just didn't have another suitable option for the off lane. So he leaves the team. Then he comes back. He's playing the mid lane. It's like, you know what? Fine. I'll go off lane. I guess it's what's best. But he's got to swallow his ambitions on a personal level here for the greater good.
They 2-0'd Monkey Business, so the results are there instantly for Empire, which is where it's like, well, I guess it is for the actual greater good because the results are speaking for themselves so far. Still just 1 best of 3. Nothing to go crazy about. Something worth noting for the fans. So, e.g., they just lost 1 best of 3. Nothing to go crazy about.
They should probably just disband on it. Just get out of here. Disgusting.
They're literally newbie after 1 best of 3.
No, literally already worse than newbie ever was after 1 best of 3.
My funniest thing when I read that, I had just suddenly realized, I was like, they actually are newbie, you know? They picked up the Hotstar MVP carry player from TI. In newbie's case, it was Rabbit. And then everything went downhill. They picked up Arteezy, who's the hotshot carry player, and it's all going downhill. Well, it's yet to go downhill. But if it does go downhill, 1 best of 3 loss does not quantify.
I think less a huge side of concern for the EG fans and more proof that Vega is extremely legit and may very well secure themselves a direct invite to the major if they end up going all the way.
Yeah. I like where things are headed as far as the majors go. No longer just continuing to reward the established organizations who are just known for being at every event. Like you look at Alliance Na'Vi, teams who are not going to be invited to anything beyond the qualifiers. So,
well, those Alliance Na'Vi days, man, they feel like a distant dream at this point.
You see, like those are the two teams you got to have them at your event. Like you do anything to get them at your event, but
well, it used to be, like DreamHack and ESL would just always directly invite both of them, but can't do that anymore. That's for damn sure. So, all right, back to the draft here, gods, where the 4 anchors have gone into a Legion commander now. So they've got this interesting combination here of the Wyvern to like just protect an ally, your Legion who wants to be fighting and going back and forth. And now the Huskar ban out by Empire as we enter the last phase of picks here.
Not wanting to get cheesed by some last pick, I guess. Yeah, the Legion, often you'll see it picked up more when the press the attack can be used as a counter to something in the game. In this case, it's only going to dispel off a Searing Chains, which isn't all too impressive. But a pretty strong laning here against what will likely be an Ember disrupted dual lane. It means Legion, the off lane, could apply some pressure with a roaming Ogre Magi. And I think that's kind of the intent coming out from Stark, is to move the Ogre around a lot early. And if Ogre shows up to the bot lane, suddenly you've got Disruptor getting ignited, punched to the face by a Legion commander, and quite likely going down. So
Clock will round things out here. So trying to fatigue and frustrate that Legion in the fights. Stark now. Final core, gods. What are you thinking?
So they're looking, for the safe lane farmer. It's unless we're seeing a Legion commander. So against a tiny Ember Disruptor Clock, you're definitely looking at a BKB carry, I'd say. You just can't really get away with that one. Phantom Assassin's quite possible.
Bloodlust is in the mix here as well for whoever they go for.
So yeah, you can beef up whichever it is, which is where PA seems quite strong. Not the best team fighting carry, but
and they have plenty of lockdown here for the Ember and the IO, so that's not a concern for Stark.
Luna comes out, so another BKB carry, bit more pushing power than a lot more pushing power than the PA. Similar kind of laning presence, but this is a hero to me which seems fairly weak, especially seeing that EG game 1 against Vega, which was a really close game. But to me, the Luna, you could see some big weaknesses in just the hero by its nature.
Yeah, Arteezy didn't get a whole lot of help, if I recall that game correctly, and he just got completely shut down in the laning stage. And got the helm of the Dominator, slowly started to catch up, but the team had like 4-man behind him while he farmed his Ancient stacks just so Mag wouldn't scurry in and try to steal them, or somebody else from the Vega squad get in position to punish it. And Luna just felt kind of like a burden that game in a lot of ways as a hero.
And even when the items came up, it was just very funny. Like in a fight, like Luna would just get instantly demolished, might get saved by the sleep with the Ag's heal or by a cold embrace, suddenly be full HP again, but then instantly again just get squashed to the ground, despite having a butterfly manta style and all these decent late game items. So
the other thing with the Luna is that you'd love to be able to team fight around her, but Eclipse just has such a darn long cooldown.
Yeah,
140 seconds, especially around the mid game when there's a lot of little skirmishes breaking out and you are up against this tiny IO Ember. I mean, every single Empire hero can pretty much fight at least once a minute with their full complement of spells, if not more often. So, at the same time here, they do have a stronger laning setup, I would say. You've got your Wyvern, very strong laning support, some more aggressive space makers in the mid game, like the Queen of Pain, the Brutish Ogre. So, may not be as much pressure on this Luna as what we saw in that series.
Yeah. And I think Luna also suffers from the similar problem Gyro can have against Clockwork, where the blade mail timing can cause a lot of problems. If suddenly there's a Clockwork hooking you with blade mail, you can't just turn and throw nukes at him. Otherwise, the blade mail is going to get the best of you. And even in like a mid-game team fight, Clockwork might not be on you, but if you're throwing an Eclipse, suddenly there's damage being thrown right back at you. And
you can't cancel it. Once you Eclipse, you don't go back unless you go to the grave.
Well, I was talking up Resolution mid. It looks like that's not the case. Yoku's on the Tiny.
Okay.
They're back to role swaps.
So when did they... So they did play Resolution back mid? Do you know what hero it was?
Their last best of 3. I think it was one Quap game and... Ooh, I'm not sure in the other game, but...
Maybe Yoko's just their IO partner.
Yeah, both games... Oh, and the other game was Razor. Both games, Earthshaker was played by Yoku in the offlane.
It seems like they may kind of go that hero-specific route that we've seen from some teams. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yoki didn't play a ton of Clockwork when he played the hero, so...
We're going to see an early invasion here from Stark. Someone in the pre-lobby chat made a Game of Thrones joke. Was disappointed that Winter wasn't casting. Could have gone full Game of Thrones. Very clever.
We'll get him on there.
Our admin, you know. I don't think English is his first language, but I appreciated the reference.
That's some good wit, all things considered.
Very clever. I'm kind of downplaying it a bit. Yeah, so congratulations to 4 Anchors, incidentally. Nice to see that they finally have a sponsor. I mean, dear Lord, they've been pretty much the same roster with... I don't think they've changed anyone. Maybe one player in the past, like, 8-9 months?
Yeah, it's been... Since Jerex was replaced, which was a year ago, or it feels like. He went to, when he first went to Korea.
I think it was close to a year ago, if not fully.
So it's been a very consistent team. They played in the last Summit qualifiers, caused some big upsets, in fact. They played in the Phase 1 pre-qualifier and actually upset some big-name team to get into the main Phase 2 qualifier. So that was where they first got brought to light, as at least in my mind, as far as like, oh yeah, this team's actually freaking legit.
All right, so let's look at the lanes here. We've got the dual lane mid, Tiny IO up against Nemphy on the Queen of Pain. Early on, Nemphy getting the Null Talisman, going for a bit of harassment, but already see Aloha Dance has grabbed his bottle, got that nice bounty rune start, so he's in good shape. We'll see a dual lane bottom lane, guys. The big bruisers here, the Legion Commander of Trixie and Okaysia on the Ogre. Who do you favor in these lanes? And of course, the off-lane Clock probably going to struggle a bit here.
I think for Stark in their off lane, they have a slight little edge, even though they have a dual melee lane, just because Ember is a pretty weak laning stage hero until he gets a few levels, and Disrupt will be forced to just full-time zone, so we won't be seeing any solo XP. The mid lane Nemphy should struggle. Once Tiny gets level 3 or so, or even level 2, we're seeing the Tiny combo come out, just do constant harass, so Nemphy going to be put under a lot of pressure. And I think Clockwork actually handles himself okay, despite it being a dual lane. I think overall, Empire have a slight edge in the laning stage. The one lane where they have to be careful is just getting Ember some farm and levels without him going down. He shouldn't die to this dual lane. That's all that he needs to do, is stay alive, get his levels, and then he can make plays happen in the mid game.
Has gone for the early Mango on the Ember Spirit. Not something I've personally witnessed before. Certainly you see like that early bottle or even a Keela pickup.
It's the new trending item for carry players.
Yeah.
It seems almost majority of safe lane carries, at least, I mean, MV's doing it a lot, like the main player kind of to look at who really loves the Mango, but outside of heroes like Anti-Mage, almost any safe lane carry seems to just get a Mango now.
Yeah, if you have any kind of spammable nuke or even decent cooldown spell that can change the lane, can make a difference.
I've definitely supported it. It's something where a lot of my games I play the kind of safe lane role, and you don't notice it the first 5 to 10 games, but the more and more you do it, you're like, the HP regen, yes, it's 1 HP regen a second isn't much. It's a lot. It's probably over the course of the laning stage, you get 2 to 3 tangos worth of regen out of that Mango. And unless you're forced to use it in the first few minutes, which you're only going to use it if it gets you a kill. So it either gets you a kill, or it's a couple tangos worth of regen, and then you can just use it later on or sell it. So you almost always get return on the investment, even if you don't find a chance to use it.
Resolution being pursued here. Top lane gets the cogs off, almost in death range for that level 2 Lucent Beam, but no mana for Boogie. If he had a Mango... Oh, actually, he does have a Mango. But even then, I think would have been just a bit short on the damage. So yeah, it's a game of mangoes here. All of a sudden. I remember when this item first came out, everyone thought it was going to be amazing. Then teams tried it a little bit, decided it was pretty much terrible, and I would say you stopped seeing any mango pickups outside of like very specific heroes, like maybe a solo bristleback or something. And then it's making a comeback.
I remember seeing a lot of like double and triple mango off laners.
That was like right when it came out. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Drop all your gold on this item that you can't upgrade. But
everyone thought it was an off-laners item because it's like, okay, off-laners can benefit from HP regen, and there's a lot of off-laners who need that little bit of burst mana, but it's kind of transitioned more into the carry roles item, with a few off-laners like the Bristleback you mentioned getting it, and Dying also normally gets one. Some 4th position heroes do, but for the most part, carries benefit so much from it because they're always hitting creeps, so you can't really be clariting up when you're hitting a creep wave because you just easily get cancelled. So
that's a good point.
Offlaners can just back off clarity and you're fine.
And often don't even want to get into creep range because that means getting into death range for the support rotation. Speaking of, We have Aloha Dance now, grabbing a double damage rune. Already has the TP scroll picked up, something that Stark, I imagine, will be calling out, need to be careful about. The big bruiser moves in, lobs out a slow.
Not a hero you'd normally expect at TPM, but like an IO TP towards bottom.
Could come right now even. They got to be careful about this. Silent getting aggressive here as the level 3 Flame Guard. This is his time to strike and starts burning down the Ogre. Gets the chains off as well. They purge the chains off. Nicely played by Trixie, but still, okay, see ya. Well, see ya. He'll be the first blood. Down goes the Ogre. Not much he can do about that. So they just bide their time, get the Embers level 5, and then they say, let's go. And Stark just unable to stop it.
And I like what Disruptor did. He very much let the Ember get solo XP in the lane while just sitting in the jungle going for pulls, because Silent, once he gets those levels, can make plays and kills like that happen.
Resolution. Force out the rotation from the Luna, preventing her from freely farming this lane, which will back off now. Almost looked like he could have gone for a kill there on Valix, but may have cost him his own life. So he tries to play it safe here. Now they begin to chip away at him. The Luna finagling her way around the trees. Does have that decent kill potential here, but suddenly the rotation. A double damage IO. Very angry. Get the hell away from my Clockwork. Yeah, you take a little rocket in the face, Valix. Bam.
And you don't see the double damage. Suddenly there's just an IO hitting you, and you're like, what the hell?
I still think that needs to be in some way tweaked or changed, although now it has worn off. But it should always be visible.
Yes.
And they are stacking here,
There's
GoDz.
a lot of stacks. There's a triple stack in the far west, and this is now a quad stack?
Even a double stack here.
And they don't have good heroes to come and seal this. Trixie it's got level 3 overwhelming odds, but it takes 4 or 5 nukes to take this stack, so he'll scout it.
He's going to start. And let's see. Do they rotate? No fear.
Only level 1 ignite.
Swinging into position. Silence here as well.
You bring your IO Tiny if it's going to secure your neutral stack.
Oh, a little pokey poke from Trixie to get things started here. Kinetic field getting dropped. No fear. Continue to retreat as Silent also wraps around. But the whole gang's coming in. It's a 4-hero rotation down towards the bottom lane as Trixie continues to prod away, but this may be punished here. Gets caught by the chains. Follow up from the Avalanche, and Yoku will grab the easy kill now. Okay, see ya. Just wanting to jet out of there, but Ember considers a jump forward. Did not have the chains cool down. They'll toss the IO up and down. Just throwing her around like a beach ball, basically.
I'm not sure. I guess he was trying to go for the long ball toss, but he shanked it.
Yeah, he definitely did. Just like your West Coast Eagles the other day.
Too soon, LT, too soon. You know, to shank it, you have to have been in it with like a chance to have hit a good shot. They weren't even in that game. The shot.
Yeah, that was my first experience watching Australian football. We had a little viewing party here at the house, and well, your team got dunked on, unfortunately.
I felt bad. I was like, man, this will be good. It's the grand finals. It'll be hype, and then it was just a one-sided stomp.
The best part was like Roland started off cheering for the West Coast Eagles, and then in typical Roland fashion, he just got excited anytime something happened. And towards the latter half of the game, he was just cheering like anytime there's a score, and then he'd catch himself, be like, oh crap, that's Hawthorne. I shouldn't be cheering for them. So the damage was done.
He's just a sports fan, regardless of team, most of the time. I got him back when England lost in the rugby, so that's why I'm wearing my Australian rugby jersey today and not my...
Just to make sure he knows who's boss. All right, so as far as CS goes here, quite even across all the cores, it looks like. Requita paying a bit behind as a hero that maybe needs to farm a little more, but at the same time, Trixie getting quite a bit of CS out of this offlane. So when it comes to net worth, GoDz Empire accruing a lead pretty much just off of the kills to the stage. And, of course, the jungle stacks now having begun to get cleared out. They will pull a bit farther ahead.
Yeah, and that... the IO about to hit level 6 means you've got that threat of kills happening anywhere on the match. If Silent in a safe lane can initiate hit a searing chain, suddenly there's a relocate in and Trixie going down. Similar story for the offlane. Clockwork can just hook in, call for a relocate, and you're looking at kills happening anywhere on the map.
Yoku and Aloha Dance roaming back through the mid lane. They don't have relocate just yet, although Aloha Dance getting very close to that. We'll see continuous stacking from No Fear now. Swinging around down towards the southern creep camp. We'll begin creating a fresh pile of gold for his cores. Pings it out even as well. No real pressure here from Stark, though. They're just letting this tiny IO do their thing. Getting their own farm up on the Luna.
It seems like a worry to me. Luna's going to try contest farm for farm. Has gone for just a Morbid Mask for now, but this is just a hero who's so squishy come mid-game time. We're 10 minutes in. We're not going to see Luna able to fight with the Eclipse just because of how paper she is. One tiny combo and that's a dead Luna. Ember Spirit, similar thing. Just a Searing Chains with some Fire Remnant nuke damage. Clockwork with a hook shot. With, I guess it's just level 1 battery flare, but Rocket Flare. Luna can't stand up to any of the Empire cores right now, which is a big worry.
She does go into that early Home of the Dominator build, though. Grabs the Morbid Mask after the treads, the Aquila. So it seems like they want to even double down on the early farm trading and economy game. Meanwhile, your Tiny IO.
As if
what's the build here for Yoku? Blink Rush.
Yeah, that Luna's
he's looking
in even
to punish.
more trouble. Yeah. Oh, and Boogie just farming the jungle, which is not going to keep him up as much as farming the lane, but it's very much, you go to the safe lane, you get jumped upon by a relocate. So he's spending a lot more time in the jungle as opposed to farming the lane.
Silent is smoked up here. Smoke about to break, but remember, they've got to relocate. So Stark potentially sending 5 heroes into a 4-hero rotation, if not more. Trixie will TP the hell away. He senses something's not right and doesn't want to take the risk.
Yeah, Silent a little bit late to the party and doesn't see the TP. So Yoku has revealed the Blink Dagger, which means the threat of those ganks now known to Stark, but probably doesn't make them any more at ease. If anything, it's just going to mean they spend more time grouped up, more time defensively farming and not being as efficient with their farming.
Yoku, he's gotten the bloodlust now. He sees that Quap Illusion deftly maneuvered by Nymphy and the insta-blink Avatos, but not able to kill it. Nymphy will now show his real face. Yeah. Emerges. Oh, they're going on bot lane. Trixie in a bit of trouble here. Does try to purge off that Thunderstreak, but the Avatos comes through. Trixie flips back into an early demise as 5 heroes made their way to the bottom lane for this. So Stark, they'll take their tower for free.
Let's say Stark, they have no way of fighting or really achieving much right now because of how strong Empire is with a Blink Tiny and a level 8 Ember Spirit. It made the right move. They see a lot of heroes bottom, they pressure the top lane. Similarly, Valix was just camped behind Boogie at top, so if they relocated and made a jump onto Luna, they're looking to counterplay with Winter's Curse. So that's really all Stark can do, is use the Winter Wyvern as a counter initiator, hiding in fog, trying to anticipate where Empire are going to move with their ganks, or alternatively, when you see that relocate happen somewhere on the map, push somewhere else. You can't really try and fight them head on unless you get a great Winter's Curse.
So Stark trade another core death for a tower. Not a terrible trade in general, though. They do continue to fall behind here in experience, now down by 1,500. Net worth still holding steady around 2K. Nymphy could be in a bit of a sticky situation here.
No Sleight of Fist. Often see that the value point at level 8 so you can get that long-range Searing Chains off. Does mean it's a bit harder to initiate.
Counting on the Tiny a little bit to start the fight.
Yes. And may just be a mid-tier 1 tower that they have to let go unless they can bring in their whole team. But it seems they'd rather go for the easy kill towards bottom lane on Disruptor, which unfortunately was scouted by a lane ward.
Splinter Blast sprung out by Valix as he fires off a warning shot, though. Stark have made the rotation bottom, and there's the glimpse. Comes into play right away. Kinetic Field, Static Storm trapping out Trixie. They're going to burn him down further with the Flame Guard and prevent him from getting out of that silence. They even rotate in the Tiny IO duo, and they have the lane ward here. Stark hastily retreating, and they'll try to... Oh, no, now they're back mid, and they want vengeance. They're on to OKC. Eclipse is at the ready, still not being cast. There's that one pesky creep that would deny some of the incoming damage. And Yoku thinks about a blink forward. Doesn't have the vision. No lane ward, so can't quite find the kill, though. The rocket will be shot. It appears it will be off the mark.
Nice little heads-up play from OKC. It doesn't get sniped, although he will be walking through it, so could see another attempt at his life by Clockwork. But again, you should be able to see it go flying past towers and unlikely to succeed.
Coming in hot. Okay. Boop.
Okay. He was ready for it.
Yeah, they're keeping him on his toes, though. Yeah. The Ogre is just trying to do his best ballerina impression.
Resolution now with Blade Mail, so another...
That was a quick one, too. He's had it for like a minute and a half or so.
Yeah, that's a dangerous mid-game item to fight into when you've
40 CS at 14 minutes.
All this damage you can't control. The Sonic Wave likely to hit him, the Eclipse, and overwhelming odds, and that's big nuke damage, which the Blade Mail can reflect.
His creep score only 10 down on the Queen of Pain Gods. You go back to those kill opportunities top, just barely unable to get the Luna inside the cogs with the clockwork. Could have been an easy kill there, and then maybe the lane snowballs, but that didn't happen as such, and now they find themselves having to be very careful about how they initiate. Empire hanging back in the mid lane. We'll see Trixie showing his face. He's going for a lot of early laning presence here. The Orb of Venom, the Bassi, Treads, and Bottle. Still no Blink Dagger in sight.
And they didn't do that well in the lane. That's where having all these small items really is a problem for Trixie. He's committed all this early money and he's not making anything towards a Blink. Picks up a Cloak now, so very much just respecting the damage output of a Tiny as well as Ember Spirit as far as the magic damage. And I think he knows that if he tries to farm up a Blink, it's just not going to work. There's too much kill potential coming out from Empire. So I like this little move. It's a desperate move, but it's the right kind of safe, desperate move that they need to be making right now.
They started stacking Ancients, but Empire, as it feels they have been all game, just ever so slightly one step ahead of them every time they saw the stacking begin. They know that's a possibility. They keep tabs on the jungle. Wards were planted down as well, and to go with those wards, you've got the rocket flares just all over the place, really giving this IO some vision around the map and potential openings to go for a gank. Speaking of which, Aloha Dance now has a regen rune bottled up. This will allow Yoku to freely farm and come right back to full mana.
Yeah, and Empire with ancient stacks of their own, just as comparable to what we're seeing on the Dire side.
But I don't think the Dire squad has actually seen these yet.
I've not seen any scouting towards the ancients, no.
Oh, look at the little Moogle sentry.
It's
so adorable.
I saw it top in the lane. I was just like, oh, that's a cool little. I want one of these.
Well, I know you're not a big RPG kind of guy, but this is from Final Fantasy. If you enjoy cute little Moogles, you can have as many as you want if you play it. But all right, hookshot on the mid lane, resolution engaging, and now the Static Storm comes down. Also keeping Nymphy back with the cogs here. Beautifully played, and now the Winter's Curse onto Yoku as he initiates in. The IO is kept alive, though. Doesn't die through this. They even commit an Eclipse, but rushing forward is Silent. Starts burning them all down. Boogie engaging onto Aloha Dance. Has a tether in 3 seconds. Can he juke any further? Where you going, you little ball of stupid? You're dead. A 2-for-1 exchange.
That was Empire barely struggling to keep a few heroes alive there, and they get a T1 tower, a couple of kills.
Luna really wanted though. It's just like let the creeps like following her in, you know. I'm getting you no matter what.
Tiny won a duel also, which was not the scariest hero to win duels on the other team because he has got the
so much damage. Imagine if it could be attack speed if you had like the choice or something.
Yes, it's much scary if it's a hero with low damage and high attack speed getting a duel. So Tiny, not a big deal that he wins the duel, but very much a sign of just how that fight went down. The Ember just came in at the right time and turned it around. And
again, we see where Eclipse is a very situational ability. They are making their go on mid, though, Gods. Trixie, no. Chains off the mark there. Doesn't really matter. Avatos almost finishing Trixie off the bat, immolating him down, courtesy of the Flame Guard. They will secure the kill. Aloha Dance just being poked and prodded by Valix. Now the quad bolt prevents the relocate back, gets the double kill. This is a big overextension by Team Empire. No Winter's Curse, but that's okay. The Ogre's got you covered. Multicast and a club. How fitting. But beat down 3 and Empire.
Dang.
Well, they got struck back on.
Tiny was only lingering around because the relocate was half a second away from relocating IO out. And Tiny's like, okay, just take me with you and we'll both be safe. And the Sonic Wave just came at the buzzer. That was the last possible millisecond of time where you could hit the Sonic Wave on IO to bring him down. And boy, was that huge. That's a major gold swing going Stark's way.
No fear. Going for the big plays here. Static Storm, Kinetic Field. He completely airballs it. Now they might actually run him down. Lucent Beam coming through. Quap initiation as well. Secures it. Just watching and waiting was Resolution. Maybe should have hooked in there a bit earlier to help set up the combo.
Yeah, it would have been a big risky play fighting 2v4, but like if you're gonna go for a disruptor play like that, you've got to have some kind of a game plan. Like, let's go in this hero, bring him down quick, and then try and escape. Clockwork, if he's hooking in to initiate with the Blade Mail, unlikely Stark gonna look to jump and kill him because of that Blade Mail. So there was potential to try and defend it, even with just the 2 heroes. You had IO as well as Tiny respawning fairly soon, so there was potential for a TP in if the fight drew on.
Yeah, sometimes you just kind of hope as a disruptor player that they're going to be like a half-second slow, everybody's a little bit asleep at the wheel, and then when you try to run, it's too late, kinetic field's up, you're in the cage, and then the clock comes in and messes everybody up. But well, they lose the support in the end. Not the biggest deal in the world, Gods. And worth pointing out here, Empire's cores starting to pull away a bit. We've got Silent up on top as far as the Well, normally the mid laners go, though. The Ember was a side lane hero this particular time around, but his counterpart, the Queen of Pain, bit down on farm. They are relocating. They have eyes on Trixie. Blink. Nope. They went for the illusion.
Okay.
They'll be happy about that. So Stark dodging a bullet. But you can see Trixie's feeling the heat. He's gone back for a cloak here. Not your everyday Legion Commander grab.
Nope. Not at all.
Yeah, Ember almost has the Battle Fury now. We're seeing the Luna. Although she stays even on farm, to date she has just not felt nearly as high impact. And the Tiny, well, Aghanim's about to come out.
Yeah, I think with Luna it's been very much, let's go for these farming efficiency items. The Yasha Morbid Mask is just an item where you can just power farm your jungle without losing HP. Doesn't allow you to fight very well.
Trixie on the run. I feel like we've been saying this multiple times this game. He will be able to get back. Nemphy may not be so lucky, though. Static Storm is waiting for him. They get him into the Thunderdome. Cogs also keeping him even deeper within. And they finish him off courtesy of the Blade Mail. Queen of Pain going down. Bottom tower also falling to the Wrath of Silent. Has that Battle Fury en route. This is a big early pickup. All things considered. I mean, they try to pressure his lane and slow him down, GoDz, but he's right there with the Tiny.
Yeah, it was really unsuccessful. Luna is still going to struggle even with the BKB pickup coming soon to fight into the Ember and Tiny because physical damage is on the way. You've got Battle Fury on Ember. You've got Tiny. Ag Scepter now complete.
Always got that tether, the overcharge as well, just to run in and go hard.
And Luna's just damage output alone won't really cut it. The Eclipse, definitely nice to have the BKB because you're not going to get blade mailed by a Clockwork, but it just doesn't feel like Luna's going to be a right-click carry until you get that next damage item on top of the BKB.
And perhaps the bigger issue is the Legion Commander, Trixie. 0-5, no Blink, no Shadow Blade, no Blade Mail. Just a hero they can either ignore or kill, but really never have to fear. Still lacking on the levels here as well. Only level 9 at 21 minutes, and GoDz, they dual laned him to try and give him a better start.
Yeah, it's been a tough time for him this game. I mean, it's going to continue to be so. They're also headed top, looking straight at him to find some more kills to add to their quota.
8-5 the score. Actually fairly low kill game, though. There's been a lot of aggression. And Yoku will continue that aggression here. Trixie retreating back in the end. The Glimmer Cape of Alex keeping him safe. Hell, he's got almost as much farm as the Legion Commander. Now Resolution arriving. Gets the Cogs off. Static Storm's there as well. Zoning the rest of Stark back a bit. They'll glimpse Nemphy. End of position where a toss up and down will occur. Ogre now buying back, wants to re-engage here. Can the Luna turn the fight? Has the loser beam. Nice Winter's Curses. Onto the Tiny, though. Not enough to quite finish him off the bat. The IO just poking away slowly, but at long last, they get a dual win, and now they toss back the Luna. Eclipse still going, though. And all the while, looks like it will be enough to get the kill in the end. So 1 for 1 there. The Ember Spirit cleaning up.
Big toss back at the end there. As Luna was in the front lines, BKB Eclipse likely to get at least one more kill, and Tiny's just
that was even the BKB reveal.
Turn around,
second down.
Yep.
And Eclipse down as well, and it forces the buyback, so it ends up being a 2 for 1 counting that.
Yeah, not the fight Stark were looking for. Legion Commander did get the kill, including a dual victory onto the IO, which was
Bogey,
the one kill they got.
You are in all kinds of trouble, my friend. Hook's there, follow-up comes through, they glimpse him back. They just keep on throwing this Luna around like a ragdoll, and eventually she'll give up. Luna down again, and the struggle continues here.
Yeah. They dewarded one Observer Ward in their jungle, that common spot that spots the 2 medium camps, but there was that second one at the top river which saw where Luna was. So I think Luna's just like, okay, we dewarded it, and having 2 Observer Wards that cover the same spot, kind of not that common, so Luna just caught out by the hook.
Yeah, they placed both of those down very early. One of them dewarded close to its expiration, I believe, and now they freshly plant a new one up on the hill. Empire have been putting a lot of emphasis on scouting the jungle, whether it's rocket flares or wards or just generally aggressive movements. They do not want to let Stark sit back and just farm away. And, well, some of these heroes are trying, but they're going to be slow about it. You see Valix dewarding a bit. Mech already complete on Resolution, meanwhile. This guy has been getting a lot out of the off lane.
That's like the one small little upside of Luna going down, is you find out where the Empire vision is, which long term, that was a freshly planted ward, so right now Empire have 0 vision up on the map. Being like successful D-ward after successful D-ward can lead to your opponents forced to play in the dark, and for Empire it's not the biggest deal because they've got smoke. They can look to just group up, go for a smoke play, and put down some follow-up wards that the Disruptor has ready to go, so Not by any means without option here on the Empire side.
All right, finally, Trixie. An item that allows him to initiate. He will grab the Blink Dagger. And also, didn't get to mention it, he won a duel last fight.
Yeah.
Also cracks level 11 here. Pretty big deal.
Handy for sure.
Let's see if they can use this Blink.
He's going to be looking to find that IO like he did last fight. With
This could be a great pick as well. Blinking in, dueling silence. Didn't have the Flame Guard going either. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. Oh, I love this combination, gods. A lot of burst damage.
It's the casino combo.
Yeah,
the
it really
Legion
is.
with the Ogre.
He's just rolling the slots, and the Legion's the one coming up flush, collecting all the cash and chips, and walking away a very happy gambler. We'll push on the back of this. Boogie, the man in front. The trade, though, is Tiny, doing even more tower damage than that puny, pesky little Luna. We'll bash down this tier 2 and keep on going. Looking like Empire wants to call the bluff of Stark that they'll continue pursuit.
Base trade situation, always favor the IO Tiny. That's one thing I've learned. Even though it is Yoku going for a BKB next, favoring a defensive item over any kind of attack speed. Does have the IO to make up for his lack of attack speed, but you normally still see at least like one attack speed item before the BKB, so very defensive play coming out from him.
And there are a lot of things to pierce that BKB. The Winter's Curse, the duel, just the physical damage of a Luna and her squad, and even the Queen of Pain ultimate. So, by no means get BKB, become God. Definitely still kill potential here on Yoku. But that said, he's just tanky. 2100 health, 10 armor, and acting like it. More aggressive wards, meanwhile getting planted down, also worth mentioning. So, you're going to try the southern side of the map.
I think more than anything, just worried about the Luna Eclipse that we kind of saw that first BKB Eclipse come out, and it forced Empire to back off. Like, Yoku was on the front lines, and he's just like, I gotta get the hell out of here. I can't tank an Eclipse even with my 2k HP, so... Means the main source of damage output can be negated outside of the Quap Wave. They've got a lot of lockdown to go through, but if he gets cursed during a BKB, he's not going to die. So it's very much like as long as he gets his BKB off, he is kind of immune to going down during that time.
His IO may not be so lucky, though, should she get cursed.
Aloha Dance has treads now, so some bit of a boost in HP. And likely will start getting a lot of points in. This is often where you see lots of stat points come out for an IO just to tank up as much as possible rather than max the tether.
Oh, you know what? That's actually... That was a big change. I think this was 6.85, right? The Winter's Curse... It doesn't work if you're magic immune and you're not the main target.
Yeah, that's true.
So now the Tiny can't beat his IO as long.
I guess Tiny, for the most part, is the target for the curse. At least that's what we've seen so far this game.
Yoku, he's walking into the Eclipse, into the Queen of Pain ultimate, and he gets turned! Yoku didn't have the BKB going, and the IO, well, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Ends up going down quickly here. Nemphy now on the chase, no fear. Can't glimpse her back when she's magic immune. Finally will get it off, goes for the TP out. Is there any way to cancel this? An Ogre stun? No, Lucent Beam. Just out of range, and Silent takes this as his cue to go for the split push, but a 2-for-1 exchange there. And I think they won their second duel as well. Looks like 24 damage now up on Trixie.
No, he got that 24 damage earlier from the Ember. That was from the kill around the mid.
Yeah, you're right.
But either way, huge fight for Stark. They've just great position on the high ground, take advantage of it, and put themselves in a nice position considering how much they kind of, I would say, lost the early game as far as the laning stage went. Empire won the stack wars. They were stacking 2 big jungle camps and their ancients, much more so than Stark were on the Dire side. And a couple key fights. First around that mid lane where they got a few big kills. Now that one there where they get another kill on the Tiny plus IO. Stark are still in nipping distance of this game.
They may have to deal with Silence soon, though. He's now got a Crystallis, has not died in quite some time. Demon Edge also up on the courier, so dangerously close to his Daedalus.
We'll definitely be looking at a Lincoln Sphere, I think, as his item afterwards, which is maybe where he becomes a big problem. Because until then, you can catch him out with the Jewel or the Winter's Curse. You've got 2 great initiation spells.
Oh no, Silent! That's not the remnant you're looking for! The Blanket Dual initiation from Trixie.
Wow.
Needs a little more help here. The Lucent Beam comes in from the high ground, and they do have another winner.
Did he have another remnant further back? Or was that
I think it may have expired right before he cast it or something.
Yeah, because I thought
either that or he just did not expect anyone and was... But it's a really weird play to run to the trees and then remnant back into the jungle, so... I think it must have been a remnant that just expired.
Tiny thought about going in to steal these stacks, but realized it's only a double stack, and also multiple TPs came towards mid, which they have an observable vision of. So really nice deep Empire ward.
Relocate instead goes on bottom, but Trixie takes no damage. The hook shot hit the creeps, and he'll just blink away.
Wow.
Very calm head under pressure. Normally there you just kind of assume you're not going to be able to blink, but Trixie spamming it will make it out, and now Boogie able to farm his Ancients. They emerge with no deaths through that whole sequence of events.
Not the most polished play from Empire, but still in a good position as far as overall farm goes and just their teamfight lineup going towards the late game.
No fear. A bit of a mission here. Glimmers through, plants down that ward, and now sneaks away. They're going to see him retreating. Oh, no, he hits the other. No, okay, now they will. But did they know where that ward was placed exactly? That remains to be seen.
Silent now. Still a couple hundred away from the data list. Imagine you will just be picking it up, not worrying about buybacks at this stage. Still fairly early on in the game.
Yeah, they've still got their tier 2s up mid and bottom. And Stark not really the quickest pushing lineup here. Luna still a few items away from becoming the super siege machine that she can be. She doesn't really get scary until you take the tower down and you get those glaives a bouncing.
Yeah, and just the Manta BKB for now. So the butterfly is kind of the item pickup where you think, oh gosh, this Luna's actually is a big deal.
And you get that butterfly, maybe work your way back into an MKB or even a Daedalus after your Satanic, but with the illusions and the way this hero works with pretty heavy Agi buildup, they do a lot of bonus damage from that butterfly.
Yeah, so I think for Stark, it's very much try and find the pickoffs on the core heroes right now, using the Winter's Curse, using the Jewel, likely chewing through smokes when possible. Unfortunately, it looks like they've used up all their available ones for at least the next minute, so somewhat limited in options to move around the map undetected.
Well, Stark were detected as they tried to make their move. Radiant having vision here up in the dire jungle. Stark want to make a play down the top lane. It will not go unnoticed, and we're starting to see Empire group up as well. Often your tiny IO, even the Ember, just kind of off in their own little world, but not the case here this game, GoDz. They're sticking more with the team, playing a little more conservatively after a couple of those nice initiations by Trixie.
They will be picking up a gem as well on Clockwork, so looking to control the map as much as possible. And I think they realize having a vision advantage at this stage, they've been caught up by a couple of smoke ganks. They are probably well aware that smokes are a limited resource on the Stark side. So if they can get map control over their opponents, and they've got better heroes for it with the Clockwork Rocket Flare, they'll have a big advantage as far as making it so it's difficult for Stark to take something like Roshan, making it difficult for them to push out lanes without knowing where Empire are on the map.
Daedalus is now complete on Silent, continues to accelerate his farm here. We'll see what his next big grab is. You mentioned the Lincolns. Curious to see if he does go for that. But for now, does have a bit of farming left to do. The Queen of Pain Eggs finally up as well. Went for an early BKB. But now we'll activate a Haste Rune. Starts scampering about. Gets the Bloodlust just for extra move speed when you need it. And we'll rotate on the mid lane. So very patient, careful play from both teams. 22 kills at 33 minutes here. And feels like the vast majority happened in that first 10 to 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, it really has been a more strategic back and forth game of just heroes trying to maximize their farming efficiency without getting caught out. And every now and then you'll see someone like an Ember get caught out with a slight misplay in his Remnant. The IO Tiny get a bit aggressive going into the dire jungle. And Stark find themselves in a position where they can at least take a fight with a better initiation. They're still slightly behind on farm. The late game, I'd say, definitely favoring Empire with the Tiny Ember. But Stark have a lot of the big kind of playmaking teamfight spells. Jewel as well as Winter's Curse. Two very high impact spells if you can land them properly.
Especially with the late game Luna backing them up. She really wants you to hold those heroes in place. See, the glaives can bounce. The Eclipse actually hits heroes and not creeps. And doesn't get fogged either. Ember pushing out this bottom lane. Jumps back for Silent. Playing it cautiously. Close to the vest. And it will be the butterfly buildup now for Mr. Boogie. Maybe where Empire considers MKBs down the road, but for now, not in position to buy them. The AC just being completed by the Tiny.
And just good natural progression for Luna. It can be a it can force someone like Silent on the Ember to second guess, like, oh, do I still need the defensive Lincolns, or is MK, or can my team protect me and then I just buy an MKB instead? Because Tiny often in the front lines is the one taking the Winter's Curse, with Io often taking the Jewel as well, so he feels he can maneuver around, may try and risk it and go for something a bit greedier like an MKB when he sees this.
There's a Glimmer Cape up now on Mr. Aloha Dance, so cobbling a little bit of farm together at the 35-minute mark as we begin to head through the mid-game and into the late game. Stark working on the Ogre Ags as well. Could be a lot of fun if he's able to secure it. Still ways to go before the casino has its extra slot machine to work with.
That's it. At that point, you're always winning when you do the slots. You get level 16 with an Ags. If you're not winning, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, it puts Spirit Breaker to shame. Although you're actually supposed to win a lot of those. Where's the cow? Though he is not, often does anyway. Empire moving in, looking for OKC. Rocket scouting them out. Do they want to engage? Yes, they do. Yoku, the first man, and gets the initiation on Trixie, almost finishing him off the bat, and now using his club as a bat, just smacking down Valix, trying to kill him. OKC will be the first one down. Up and down goes the Disruptor, because why the hell not? I'm a Tiny. I can throw whoever I want. And Yoku now will jump in further, looking for pushing and additional pressure mid. So they lose 2 supports, and now they probably lose their tower mid as well.
Yeah, good use of the BKB, and Tiny just knew he could run in unafraid. Worst case scenario, he gets Winter's Curse, and in that scenario, it's a fairly wasted curse, because he's not going to die. He's got the BKB up. It means the only damage output coming out is going to be from Sonic Wave and Luna right clicks. If Luna's going into right click, that's where the Ember Spirit will just keep on slider fisting, just cleave on through, do a ton of damage. Luna's still fairly squishy in a fight if you're right on the front lines, next to a Tiny, next to an Ember Spirit.
Looks like Silent going to be basically ready with his completed BKB after this Roshan. So not going Lincolns, but does get a defensive item next. Yoku, 2,400 gold here as well. He'll be the one to grab the Aegis. And everybody a happy camper after that fight. Resolution now looking for a little bit more. Keeps eyes on Trixie. They do have a relocate, GoDz. Could consider a jump here. BKB about to cool down, though, and he'll blink away to safety. This gives no fear in opening. Gets that ward down. And then, although they were dewarded the one time, it feels like for the most part Empire have had good aggressive wards up for most of this game.
Yeah, and being able to deward everything that's really come down the last 10 to 15 minutes with Resolution's gem. Apart from this one ward that's at the Ancients. Spotting out a bit. Looks like no clockwork rotation through there. Recently, top lane, he's been jumped on.
BKB and Resolution down. A nice duel here for Trixie, but can he make it out is the question. Blink Dagger cooling down, but Avalanche Toss is probably going to catch him out and will be enough to finish him off. So
Pop ran up with the gem, so well worth it.
They snag the gem, they get the duel win, and they had a big streak there in Resolution. Also, in the meanwhile, they may be able to punish Aloha Dance here, and yeah, they will. Relocates back, doesn't bring a friend. Silent trying to cover his buddy, but doesn't have the damage to force anyone back in time. So 2 for 1 with a gem grab as well.
Yeah. Immediate rebuy by No Fear. I think realizing that having a gem very important against Glimmer Cape, especially, and also just the map control aspect, which they want to keep on applying pressure. We saw how easily they could take that fight mid lane and then take a tower when they're grouped as 5 and know that they're kind of got the numbers advantage in a team fight, in the positional advantage. So for Empire, rebuy a gem, they're going to look to, I imagine, take either this last out of tower at top or even threaten the high ground while they've still got this Aegis. 3 minutes left for Tiny, and no real item slots to work around with. He's sitting on 5k gold, can't really upgrade anything unless he wants to sell his Blink. But either way, he's kind of ready to go for that high ground play now. And it looks like he will. Oh, buys a Moonshard. There we go. So he can buy something. Moonshard from the side shop. And
all right, even ate it right away. No hesitation here from Yoku. And this will allow him to maintain his Aegis and his boots. Takes away half the attack speed you'd otherwise get. Will now push in. And he goes to work on the tower. Glyph not available. Boogie has also just completed a butterfly. They're threatening to go in with the Trixie duel. Pretty dangerous, because you're trying to go in for that tether relocate, GoDz, but if they catch you with the curse,
yeah,
you're not saving your Tiny, and then your whole team may
we may even see
be in a bad position.
Like Yoku just doing what he just did, hitting the tower without the tether. I think it's actually dangerous to tether overcharge him at this stage.
And They're keeping Yoku back, though. He's being punished for it. May even lose his Aegis here. Kinetic Field came in. They're going to nuke Boogie once. Now Glimmered. Retreating.
I think they just want to heal Yoku up so he can, again, go to the high ground and just chip away at the racks.
Oh, this chip damage on Boogie really starting to add up. Doesn't have the Satanic just yet. And now the Winter Wyvern forced to put him under and protect him. But all the while, Yoku continues to be healed up more and more. Iron Charge is still available. They even have the Glimmer Cape. And finally, Nemphy says, enough of that. I'm going to blow up this creep wave. So it does use the ultimate. Deletes the wave, but already the tower down, the racks exposed, still no glyph in sight.
All earned charges expended, 4 or 5 in a row onto Yoku, so very much signaling they're ready to go high ground.
Incidentally, there's just a gem on the ground right now. I guess they've decided they don't need it for the siege.
Interesting. Yeah.
Or up against the Glimmer Cape.
Would have been able to deward the high ground here, but
Yoku goes in again. The Bruiser in front, just looking for the range racks. Nice Sleight of Fist. Searing Chains combination there, and then the hook shot on it. Nemphy looks for the pushback, doesn't quite get it. Resolution was searching, but still they engage. Boogie now eclipsed and goes in hard, but can he get any kills here? Trixie with the quick duel win. Still Yoku, the man in front, the man alive. He'll blink out. Doesn't quite finish the melee racks. So they lose the Clockwork. They hang on to their Aegis. They consider a re-engage while the Wyvern's working on Silent. Silent may get caught out here. He will get caught out, destroyed by the Queen of Pain. Yoku, left to his own devices, still the Io sticking around. They lose their Aegis now, but they've tracked down Aloha Dance Glimmering, looking to get the hell away. Protect me, leave me alone, leave me alone. Won't be left alone. Nemphy might be the trade here. Yoku able to Avatos him, but now the gem on the ground and Yoku surrounded and unable to do a thing. Doesn't have the mobility here, GoDz. He'll end up dropping. They get the gem. Stark with a huge win, holding, killing off 4, getting rid of the Aegis, grabbing the gem again, and they don't lose their melee racks.
Yeah. It feels like Empire just don't have their eye on the prize. You just got to take that. He went for the range racks first, which I think that's okay because you can kind of test the waters. Like, okay, if I start hitting their racks, how are they going to respond? Are they going to look to fully engage on me, or are they just going to stay back and chip away using Arctic Burn, throw an Ignite? He very much, with Glyph on cooldown, he could have just popped BKB and hit the melee racks. And that would have been that. That would have been a melee racks claimed. Likely, when the BKB wears off, he's very vulnerable, does die, but with an Aegis in hand, like that's well worth the trade, and then you can use that tether relocate out if it looks really bad. So I think Empire just got a bit overconfident because of the fact they had the Aegis, and we also saw there the weakness with Ember going for the BKB over the Lincolns. He's got no real defensive capabilities against either Winter's Curse or Jewel. Both go through BKB, and both of them, if you catch him with it, prevent him using the BKB, so you can just burst him down during the lockdown that those spells provide.
And Trixie is quietly accelerating his damage output here, up to 70 dual victory damage, and along with that has the Lunar Blessing, as well as Bloodlust. You imagine Trixie getting into like his Abyssal Blade Mail stage of the game? I mean, maybe skips the Blade Mail, but even just the Abyssal Blade at this point could be huge. For now, is going to stop off for the Heaven's Halberd, grabbing the Sanj. So has the Disarm against the Tiny.
Yeah, with Tiny's
potentially the Ember.
Tiny's BKB getting fairly short, down to 7 seconds already, and when you get to that late game 5-second BKB state, Halberd is such an annoying item to deal with as a carry. Yoku, though, he's been past the bottle. He's got a DD rune. This is something to look out for.
Could be the moment for Yoku, who, after completing the Moon Shards and devouring it, still has an item slot here. Possibly 2 if he ever wants to cast aside his treads. They'll now make their way on. Let's see, where do they want to journey? Towards top they head. Yoku smacking down tomatoes, squashing them. Continues moving and does have eyes on Nemphy. There is backup here. Avatos, he takes it and goes in deep. Doesn't quite finish the job though. Nemphy able to blink away to safety, but still they've lost another. The hook in came onto the Wyvern Empire. Suddenly, there's a Tony up close and personal. The glimpse BKB dodge, but this is going to keep the Queen of Pain back even further as Yoku takes this moment to just start beating down objectives here. He'll clean up one lane of racks. Well, only the range for now. Massive series of buybacks coming out. Everybody re-engaging, but Yoku sticks around. He'll get the job done even if he dies on the way out. They already have the objective advantage now, no fear. Oh, the blink in from Nemphy has to be careful here. He's the gem carrier. They get up to Winter's Curse, and it's Yoku versus Silent. Trixie says, yeah, I'll take that damage. Thank you very much. The Tony doing the dirty work here, but now rebuying and trying to engage once again. Now the Eclipse coming out. Yoku hardly even scratched by this one. They glimpse back the Luna. Boogie gonna go down, and with that, he'll be Forced to buy back here if he has it.
Even with the double buyback, you're down multiple lanes of racks, and what a time to find a DD rune for Empire.
Oh, give them credit for that killer instinct. A lot of teams find that rune, but not everyone has the confidence to try to win the game with it. They will make their move in silent. Does have to be a wee bit careful having blown his buyback earlier, but the rest of the team content to stay aggressive. They have the 2 racks advantage. They are a 3v5 here, and they know at least one of these heroes doesn't have buyback.
I think they want to go back in. There was multiple buybacks from Quap and Luna there.
They are engaging. Blink forward onto Nymphy, keeping him alive with the Glimmer Cape, as well as the save from the...
Oh, the Cogs push!
Uh-oh.
He blinked into the Cogs.
Resolution. Almost down, not quite. Boogie trying to man-fight this, but you can't man-fight Tiny. Bam! See ya. And with that, game 1 in the books. Empire will take it.
Empire Classic IO Tiny returns. Different Tiny player, same result, and...
Not the most polished execution, but good overall poise, I would say, where they didn't get flustered when they made some mistakes, and yeah, they walk away with it, GoDz.
Yeah, this is a kind of good opening showing from Empire. They've come off a good win against Monkey Business. This is a team who you've just got to... To me, if Empire, they want to stand a chance to qualify for the LAN finals, they just need to get a 2-0 here, have a convincing win at that. That's the kind of confidence booster where Empire's gone on these like 20, 30 game win streaks. They had one of the like longest win streaks with their old squad if you go back like maybe 7 or 8 months ago. So one of the teams who's very streaky and very kind of confidence dependent. So getting a 2-0 win here, I think very important for them.
Well, this was only game 1 of a best-of-3 showdown between Empire and Stark, guys. Our only match of the day for the Summit for Europe. So we'll take a quick break. When we return, game 2, as Stark looked to force the deciding game 3, and Empire looked to grind them into dust with a 2-0 victory. Stick around. You're watching the Summit 4.